So this is what the price is, as we just talked about it, minus the costs. And I presume that will include in our formula on costs as well as annual costs, both of these, right?
Would you please repeat it for the sake of the video?
Yeah.
Just
So a way of calculating profit margin equals first this calculation. So the revenue, the price, minus the cost of that good. Yeah. Divided by revenue is the second step. And then the third step is multiplied by 100 to end up with a percentage number. So in this example, the cost is $50. The price, sorry, is $50. The cost of producing, developing, selling that product is $30. We divide that by the revenue item, 50, and then multiply it by 100 to yield a price, a margin of 40%.
So CR is cost retail.
No, cost is the cost of goods. It's COGS, cost of goods sold. R is revenue in both cases.
This
So
is a double bracket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, it's messy because I was still working it out as I went. So when we talk about the margin, we're talking about 40%. It's different from markup. You know, we're talking about profit margin. It's more meaningful in that sense than markup.
Markup is the price from wholesale to retail, is that what you refer to as markup? Or markup is the dollar value?
Yeah, markup's a $20. So it's $20, in this case it's a $20 markup on a $50 price, so it's whatever that proportion is. That's the markup.
Should we have 100% markup? So shouldn't it be 60?
It would be 100% if this was, the markup would be 100% if this was $60 and it cost you $30.
Yeah.
But that's different from profit margin, which takes into account these costs as a proportion of revenue. So typically your accountant will be more interested in what your actual margin is than what your markup is. When it comes to this part of the exercise, you can choose either or both, margin or markup. Now, so questions about that? This always confuses me. I'm not very good with maths, so that's why I spend a bit of time on that. It's your profit margin that you're interested in. These are KPIs. This is just the financial part. Again, we're talking about here, setting some goals. Financial ones here, personal and social ones over here. You don't have to stick to these categories. These are just ones that experiences have told us people and people have told us are important. They may not be important for you. So, what your annual earnings after tax are, what your business is actually going to take home, profit. What the actual markup is. Now, typically this is expressed as a percentage like that, and typically you want to actually improve that over time if you can. So it may well be once you do these numbers, you realise that the margin you're working on right now is only 20%, and you want to actually boost it to 40, 50%, something like that over time. And once you've got numbers like that, then you can work backwards to the pricing that you actually need to put onto each individual item over time to make that markup. So it's going to cost $12 this year, and to keep the markup number happening for you, we're going to have to charge $15 next year. Is that reasonable or not? You know? And if it's not, it might not be a viable line for you to actually be running. Cost of producing those products is typically something that you actually want to reduce over time. You can do that by generating more volume, becoming more efficient,
Going overseas.
exporting, finding different markets, etc. Or different producers, you're thinking.
Yeah.
Actually getting manufactured
Yeah.
overseas, reducing costs that way. Cost of marketing and delivery. Sometimes if it's an internet-based business, employees is here simply because, again, a lot of our customers are sort of 1 and 2 person businesses, which they typically startups are, you know, they're very small, they're micro businesses. As soon as you start employing somebody, it becomes a very different kind of business. You know, the business that a startup works on is typically something that's very labour intensive, and it's your labour. You start employing people, there's a different equation. You know, those people can't be expected to work 100 hours a week that you're working, and etc. There's different taxes on time in a business like that. So if you are going to start employing people, if you think you're going to scale up to the point where you need to employ people, when does that happen? So it might be 1 person here, 2 people here, or whatever, or just 1 person by year 5 because you reckon you need an outsider or whatever.
So you include yourself as an employee with a value to that?
I'm thinking more of somebody else beyond you.
External.
Yeah. But do it in a way that suits you. You know, if you want to see yourself as an employee, that's fine. And other are here for a reason. This is not capturing everything that's important to you. For example, in a businesses like many of you, inventory days is going to be an issue. How often stock is actually sitting there dead, not earning any money for you. And typically inventory days are days that you actually want to reduce over time. You want that stuff turning over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, like
right?
old stock, like
Old stock.
moving it.
Yeah. Did you want to ask something? Somebody just put their hand up.
Oh no, this is about the employee.
What about contractors and things like that? Because you might employ contractors that can do business from a marketing
Rather than
perspective
employees.
as well as like product delivery and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they've obviously got potentially a similar cost to employees, but they're not always ongoing costs.
No, they're not as expensive generally, and they're more a variable cost because
Yeah.
you only employ them
Yeah.
when you've got the work.
Yeah.
Right? Employees you have to pay whether you've got the work or
Yeah.
not. So it's a very different sort of thing. If it's worth a line item for you, if it's that important, put it in as a line item or instead of employees, or you can include that in the cost of producing your product.
Yeah.
You know, it's again what suits you.
Yeah.
And then really here, it's kind of your call as to how you create some sort of metrics, but the point of being here is that it gives you some way of judging your progress. Okay, if your progress is, well in the example of this group, when they did their broad brush stuff, this was the architecture firm, I showed you the example. One of the partners was female, she wanted to start a family, so she actually wanted to get to a point where she could work fewer hours a week and stay home with the baby, you know. So that was her broad brush thing, and I don't know whether she actually fixed the year for that, like when she was actually going to get pregnant and have the baby, but she actually included that as part of her business plan. It wasn't something that just got nailed on. It was core to the way that she was planning her business, you know. So that's an opportunity to put that stuff in, you know, and it can actually be quite useful to do that. But in fact, I think it's essential if your business is going to be more than just somebody. So I think, is it useful to work in teams on this, or do you want to consult with somebody, or just sit by yourself and work on this and check it with somebody afterwards? What's the best way to do it? Usually what people say. So spend some time in your own company, or if you've got a partner, populating this. These become the goals. If you need to, close your eyes and take yourself back to that party. Remember